Now, I can tell you, brothers and sisters, that most people, even many of us, don't fully understand what the Torah actually teach. Because in order to fully understand what the Torah actually teach, you got to study the Torah without the instructions of the ones who have taught us what Torah said. Because much of what we know about the Sabbath, we had to unlearn. Much of what we know about the feast, we had to unlearn. Why? Because we had been taught about the Sabbath, we've been taught about the feast, we've been taught about worship from individuals who had been taught and trained according to their traditions. Remember, I was telling you when I come out of the church, Father's calling me to keep the Sabbath. It's like, I don't know how to keep no Sabbath. I know how to do church on Sunday. And because I'd been in some of the environments that I was in, I knew that there was some Sunday traditions that tried to keep the whole day Sunday. Well, not the whole day, because they believed the day began in the morning when the sun came up. People in the West, us here in America, don't look at the day the way Scripture look at the day. We start the day at midnight, not at sunset. And so people get up in the morning and go to church on Sunday, and there's some who, in order for them to fulfill their Sunday Sabbath, they have to go to 2 services. So they start the day in the morning, go to service, and of course go home, maybe get some lunch, take a nap, come back in the evening, and close Sunday out in church. And this is the idea of keeping the Sabbath holy in that denomination. There are many in those denominations. The younger group who comes up, they'll go to church once in the morning, and then the rest of the day is theirs to do whatever they want. Whether it's go to the movies, whether it goes shopping, whether it goes to the mall, whether it goes to a game, whether it's watching TV, whatever it is. And typically they don't show up in the Sunday evening service. So you'll see the Sunday morning crowd as being something big, but the Sunday evening services, you can almost count the folks on 2 hands. And this is the idea. However, when it comes down to remembering the Sabbath, coming out of a Sunday church, it's like, how do we do that? How many of us actually studied the Bible to see what it is we're supposed to do and not do on the Sabbath day? I can tell you that even from my own perspective, I incorporated some traditions unbeknownst to me. When I went to a Sabbath keeping service, and it's like, okay, I'm going to learn how to keep the Sabbath, because learning how to keep the Sabbath, reading from the Bible, doesn't necessarily give you a clear picture, but it does. Because what you see is, okay, I don't work, I rest. And that's only if you look at Genesis and Exodus. By the time you get to Leviticus, where the Almighty is instructing concerning his feast, we see that another component to not working and resting is incorporated, and that's the component of a holy convocation. Now, the Bible tells us in Genesis that when it comes down to the Sabbath, he made it holy and sanctified it, but what does that mean? And so the question becomes, well, if he made it holy and sanctified, how do I keep it holy? Because he says, remember it and keep it holy. And what does it say what am I supposed to do to keep it holy?